Hello, how are you doing? Philippe, maybe before we begin, if you could just introduce yourself a little and say a little about your company and your role in the company. Although
Yeah,
I
sure, Annie. So my name is Philippe Ensarguet. I'm VP Software Engineering at Orange. Basically, my job is to support the transformation and the move from a telco company to a tech co one. So basically, I'm working at the crossroads of the cloud, of the software, the automation, AI, and more around agentic AI. So it's definitively where I'm spending my days and a part of my nights. And I can also share with you that I'm also delighted to be an Orange Fellow that is bringing for me, I would say, another level of advocacy in what we are building here at Orange.
Okay, thank you, Philippe. So there's a lot of focus in telecoms about moving from Gen AI to agentic AI, and this has big implications for operations, government, and workforces, which we're going to talk about. But maybe a really good place to start is to set out what agentic AI is and also what it's not, because I think there's a lot of chat with possibly less understanding behind it. Thank
Yes,
you.
you're right, and I'm totally delighted to deep dive on the topic today with you, Annie. So, for me, the real angle to understand is that we are moving basically from answers to action, and I truly believe that our industry is definitively entering into a new phase, and like you mentioned, it will have a bunch of new implications. I would say in 360-degree views about operation, governance, workforce. It's absolutely, you're absolutely right. For me, what is very important when I'm talking about agentic AI, it's starting by what we are already having with generative AI, because generative AI is not so old. It's I
Not
would
so
say
old
November
itself, is it?
2022. It's the time is flying very fast right now, but it's not so old. I think that to really understand the scope of agentic, it's very important to understand the capabilities and the limitation we got with generative AI. So basically, by book, with generative AI, we got the foundation models, so the LLM that are here to understand and generate text. But it's tools that have no real memory and no real ability to natively connect, I would say, to what is making relevant in our business. That is happening only when you are injecting enterprise knowledge that is brought here by what we are calling the RAG, that reduce hallucination and allow more information grounding. And from time to time, we are also able to fine-tune model to have alignment with business needs, where we are specializing basically the formats and the domain. But at the end of the day, what is very important to understand is that generative AI evaluate and explain, but it's remaining massively passive. And what is for me very important to catch is that the fact to do and the fact to act is truly the scope of AI agent and agentic AI system. So yes, for me, when we are moving from generative AI answer to question and agentic AI and agent perform task and use tools and drive operation, we are truly moving from a passive assistance to an active execution. And trust me, Annie, we are talking in this format almost every year right now since something like 5 years. And I'm spending really my time about trying to understand what's happening. And for me, when we are talking about agentic, what is true, absolutely mandatory, what is very important is to catch that we are not in front of just a feature evolution. It's a total fundamental shift in AI's role within the enterprise. And something that could be misleading, because when we are talking about AI, the I is about intelligence. So we could imagine to have super intelligent system. And for me, okay, we have this topic that is about intelligence, but for me, the real shift is not here. The true shift when we are embracing or putting ourselves in the future with agent and agentic AI, it's about autonomy. And I think that it's very important to catch this. And why I'm focusing deeply on this autonomy topic, it's because with, I would say, much more autonomy in our system, a new kind of question are definitively emerging that are about control, oversight, and accountability, just to name a few. But I think it's very important to understand. The shift for me with agentic is not on intelligence, it's an heritage of what we are doing. But the true disruption is really about the autonomy. And something, by the way, that is very important, and when I have some discussion from time to time, I realize that there could be some misunderstanding with the agentic AI, the new intelligence stack that we need to open is totally made up the brain, so the model, the knowledge, the RAG, and the actors that are the agent. And something that is very important, we won't have to choose. We need them all. We will need to assemble all of them. Keep in mind that the LLM think, the RAG knows, and the agents do. I think it's really important to understand what are the pieces of the puzzle that we need to set up and build our agent and agentic AI system.
Okay, so yes, I guess it's kind of using the right tool and the right technology in the right place rather than one always takes over from the other. It's not successive generations. So, I mean, what you've just said to me, Philippe, it raises a lot of questions about control, oversight, transparency, and accountability. When we're talking about autonomy, we need to know how we got here and so on. And we'll come on to that. But first, can we look into the architecture and the level of complexity? Because the thing I find strange is that the industry talks about the agents rather than kind of the whole agentic system and the all
Mm.
important architecture behind it. And I mean, it to me, it's like the agent is the 5%. And the assistant behind it's the 95%, and yet
You're,
it barely gets the
you're,
mention.
yes, you're totally right, Henny, with what you just said. For me,
So maybe we could ask Martin to show this on slide and
yeah,
then
yeah, definitively. When we are talking about complexity, I think that it's important to understand what is the border and the perimeter of what is an agent. So for me, by book, an agent is made of a model, a reasoning loop, and tools. And an agent for me has very important properties. It's autonomous, it's interactive, it's goal-oriented. We have, I would say, a reactive and proactive. So the agent are responding to the environment and basically initiate action. And there is this task specificity. So agent, and when we are moving to agentic AI, something that is very important is to catch that it's really a true architectural evolution. So basically, we are taking all that I define and bring with the AI agent definition and ecosystem, but we need to integrate new consideration that are really grounded into the architecture. So it's about multi-agent collaboration with very specialized agent. It's about task decomposition because we will need to do advanced reasoning and planning. It's about system coordination and orchestration. And something that is truly critical when we are thinking about agentic AI is the persistent memory and the shared context, the context engineering you need to bring to, I would say, have a relevance of the workflow you are trying to automate to have a very grounded and relevant result. And yes, you're right. With the slide that we are just sharing here, just by scratching the surface, we may very quickly imagine how much it could be complex to set up, deploy, operate, validate, test the agentic AI system, even more if we are expecting from our agentic AI system to have true action on our environment. And here, I'm just sharing with you a case. I will deep dive a little bit later. That is a check and fix my network issue. So basically, here we could have agent that could be connected with the different networks domain, with the different knowledge base, having an understanding of the network topology, having a direct access to one or multiple network management system. And we will need also having agent um, uh, connected to, I would say, our infrastructure and the environment where we are managing the life cycle. So it's about the Kubernetes, the Slack, the GitLab, all the tooling ecosystem that we need. So here, what is very important in the picture that I'm bringing here is that we have two very important protocols, MCP for the vertical integration, that is how the agent is able to connect to the tools that are bringing basically access to resources, to actions, or to prompts that we want to bring in the knowledge of the model to have the task perform. And we have also this A2A protocol that is here basically to ensure that agent in a goal-driven approach are able to work together from a conversational standpoint with an intent approach, are able to, I would say, collaborate, whether is it synchronous or asynchronous all together. And here, yes, the idea is really to highlight that like I said, agentic AI is absolutely not for me a feature revolution, but a true revolution. And here is just to let you imagine the kind of complexity that we will have to manage. So it's something where I want to be very cautious at, and we really need to evaluate the true potential and the true value, because we are unlocking definitively very interesting features, but we really need to understand that it will come at a very certain price. And it's what I try to represent here, just to highlight the complexity.
Well, I'm really glad we shared that slide because it really brings home that we talk about agenda KI as though it's magic, and clearly there's a lot of work goes behind the magic. It's not just plug and play. And the second thing is how much communication it generates between all those different components. And the third thing is it really reinforces in my mind that when we're talking about agentic AI, we don't want to focus generally on a single agent. It's just how much it's a real ecosystem play. It's
Yes.
not a, you know, and I think we tend often the focus is on the agent, which clearly a single agent is not the answer to anything generally.
Yeah, you're right. And by the way, because like I said, agentic AI for me is really about architecture design. And like we did in the past, that is not so old, but when we are building up architecture, we are using design pattern to help us reuse the best practices from what we learn. And one of the best practices when it's about agentic AI system is the SRP, the single responsibility principle, to be sure that we are really narrowed down and bounded, I would say, an agent to be sure to give the ability to the system to resolve or to fulfill the task that it need to do. So you're right about the importance of the specificities of the agent. It's one of the very important principle that is called the SRP.
Okay, so I think we can stop sharing the slides. I think we've generally got the message. I think it would be really interesting, Philippe, if you could walk us through some of the use cases that Orange is looking at, because along with the architectural design, it seems to me probably the route to success is picking the right use case.
You're right. And something that is important is that we are running, I think, since almost something like 2 years right now, more than 2 years, I would say, multiple exploration cases, because I think it's very important to understand the disruption in the architecture, to understand the tooling ecosystem to build up all of this, and to understand the key challenges we need to tackle if we want to reach the production grade. And it's something that we will come back later on the conclusion. But yes, you're right. On the exploration we made, the first one that I have in mind is an end-to-end network troubleshooting scenario. So here the idea is quite simple. We got in a lab a 5G core trans and run. And what we build up is to have an exposure of key component of every network domain through MCP integrated into agent. And we have, I would say, a support engineer persona that is asking, I have this customer with this phone number, with this mobile phone number. He's currently experiencing issues in terms of quality of service. What's happening? So it's a conversation. So it's with a chatbot. It's a conversation. And what is very, very interesting is that here we are using a frontier large language model that is absolutely not tuned up for the telco expertise ecosystem. And when we are dumping the chain of thought of the resolution of the goal that I share the intent, and when you run it multiple times, you are observing two things that are very interesting. Because it's goal-oriented, the scenario that are used to try to resolve the quality issue problem are not always the same path, the same roads that are used, even if at the end the result is coherent from result standpoint. And the other thing that is very interesting is that honestly, it's a little bit scary because what is in the dump of the chain of thought is exactly what a very expert network team could have breakdown in how to manage and how to find the issue from quality of services. And here, where we spend a lot of time is to understand how much we can have confidence in the result that are managed, because we are in non-deterministic environment, and it's raising a lot of question about interpretation when you could extend the implementation of your agentic system directly, not only reading, but having access and writing, so modifying the properties of your infrastructure. So here, it was a first cases where we did this exploration. The second one that I truly love is a multi-agent AI system for 5G security operation. So here, what we made, it's something that we showcased, by the way, during our Orange Open Tech event in last November. And it's called Live-Centrics. So the purpose of Live-Centrics is basically you have multiple agents that are working together. One agent dedicated to listen to the thread of log and traces that are coming from the 5G core system. You have another agent that is basically connected with our knowledge bases and issues, ticket, and so on. So really an agent focused about knowledge management. You have another one that is connected to the SIEM to have the signature and the understanding of the signature of the security issues that have been managed. And what is very interesting is that we have another agent that, based on scenarios that are unknown from the SIEM standpoint, that is lively able to generate new rules that are injected directly into, I would say, the SIEM engine. So it's using an agentic approach to having a live identification of the security rules we need to make evolving regarding the live and real traffic on the system. So it's another example. And I would say that the other example that we made in exploration are also very related to telco cloud infrastructure. And here, Annie and we already talked many times that we at Orange, we pick up the horizontal model and we are leveraging the Silva project ecosystem. And on Silva, we implemented MCP servers that are able, I would say, to bring mitigation scenario for our network reliability engineering team, using, I would say, agents that are specified to understand how the clusters are behaving, other agents that are connected to our knowledge base, to be able to very, very quickly ground the root cause problem that the system could face at a moment in time. So it's really, I would say, augmenting, extending the capability of our network reliability engineer, really to be focused on the quality we are delivering. And I can just perhaps end with a last one that we showcased also during Orange Open Tech, that was called Flexible Cognitive. That is a multi-agent AI system for autonomous run. And basically, it was about run optimization between CU, DU, and lifecycle management on all of this, and managing, I would say, lively the different parameters we need to do the optimization of the radio access network. So what is important to keep in mind here is that whether is it on, I would say, end-to-end network services, security for the 5G, the core infrastructure on which we are building up, where the network function are running, or whether is it on the run, there are cases that are looking very, very, very promising. And I think that 2026, so this year, could definitively be the first time when we could envisage to put first of those live in production. And I think that the most serious one is certainly the one about 5G security operation.
Okay, so that's quite exciting. Um, what have emerged as your three top challenges in this exploration that you've done so
Yeah,
far?
I think that the
You only
challenge,
want three, Philippe.
yes, only three, only
Actually,
three.
you've probably got a list.
Yeah, so only three. I would say that definitively the first one that I got in mind is about security that I will connect with sovereignty. I will explain. By book and by design, MCP is very interesting. It's a kind of new door to the agent like we'd had in the past with API. API and MCPs are no more than doors. The value is on the capability that we are exposing behind. We are just bringing a conventional base interaction here. And by design, it has been made to run on something that was very public. So security was not grounded in the core of what has been thought initially. And today, I think that the highest challenge that we are having is definitively about security. And security in three multiple dimensions. The first one is about the authentication, the authorization, and of course the sovereign, the accountability. So authentication, authorization, and accountability, super important. And why I'm talking about this sovereignty topic, it's because when you understand the kind of data that we are using, or the how much it's deep in our system and critical and sensitive, and regarding and considering the regulation in which we are operating, I think that this sovereignty topic is extremely important. It's non-negotiable, and it's definitively driving the target infrastructure because of the sensitivity of the system. The second challenge, I think it's definitively about the trust. You know, when you are working in AI at large, there is a field that for me is super important. It's called the care. The care, it's confidence in AI results. So how much can I trust the result that the system is bringing back? And when you understand that potentially your agentic AI system that is goal-driven, so focused on the result, basically, you understand that it can touch directly to your revenue, because the true question is, would you trust an LLM to steer your source of revenue? That is the network. And we need to understand that the tool calls may, of course, repair and solve problem, but with hallucination or not enough guardrails, I think it could also damage the infrastructure. So we have a true challenge around the trust. And the last one is that, and it's where we are sitting today, honestly, is that POC is great, but production reality is very, very, very tough. Grading to production is complex because of security, because we need observability, because we need to do the testing and the debugging, because we need to do the isolation and the self-containment of the runtime of the agent, and because we need the trust. So honestly, today, what is, I would say, the core challenges we need to tackle are not really 100% grounded in AI or agentic AI. It's, I would say, enterprise large challenge. Security, observability, testability, confidence. Honestly, it's really on the top mind of the challenges we need to tackle.
Philippe, can we make this next question our last one? Because we've got a
Yeah.
queue of questions from our audience, and I'd really like to get to some of them. But this last question is, I think, really at the heart of the matter. And what are your top three learnings from what you've done so far?
I think that on the top three learning, memory is everything. We need to understand that context engineering will be more important than ever because it's where you will inject the capability of the tools on which your model could rely when it will be about to solve the goal that it has been triggered for. So I think it's a key learning. The other one for me is definitively to understand that we need to redesign how you and me and myself, will be able to collaborate with AI. Because the shift, I would say, is definitively moving from a step level confirmation to workflow level confirmation. So in one hand, it could reduce the burden, but it could be very complex to maintain the intent. And perhaps the last learning that is perhaps for me the thing that I will end my talk with is what I'm calling my golden rule zero. It's the most important rule when we are talking about agentic AI system. Please validate. You really need an agentic AI system first before anything. If what you're doing is task predictable and structured, consider a non-agentic approach. If what you want to do is single model call enough, skip agentic infrastructure. What here is very, very important, please, I think that agentic AI holds a true transformative potential for telco networks. It's very promising for autonomy, for resilience, for intelligence, but we are still in early days of the journey. It's a very exciting frontier, but I think we should have patience, cautious, and having a very true rigorous validation when it's about to envisage a large-scale AI agentic AI system that are truly connecting and acting into your networks.
Okay, Philippe, let's get to some of the audience questions. There's some good ones in here. I've seen your question, but I'm going to forward it to Philippe offline because it's quite long and complex. I'm going on to Nick now, who asks, how are AI agents different from humans who've been doing manual tasks for years? And I would think for one thing, they're faster and do what they're told. Two
I
things.
think I think that you are raising a very important question. It's perhaps more grounded into the IT and the digital world more than in the telco one, but there is a similarity. Today, the best companies or the best engineers that are using agentic AI system, basically, their job is to do the orchestration and supervise and the orchestration of how the agent are performing. And you know what is their primary number one task is to identify when the agent are failing, catching the failure, and transform the failure in a learning for the model and for the agent to be sure that he won't redo this. And here, I think that, okay, we may feel that agents are doing or performing like human, but 24 hours a day, 7 day weeks, and so on. But where we will still have, for me, a true value as human is to understand, because we have the context, because we have, I would say, the empathy, because we have, I would say, this connection. We have an ability to understand at large what's happening and to bring the guardrails and to implement the guardrails. And I think that I definitively think that our job, shifting progressively toward agentic AI, will transform ourselves into more and more, I would say, orchestrator and supervising agent and identifying where they will when they will fail and document those failures to be sure that the agentic AI system is able to learn from what he did badly, like we do with human at the moment in time.
Well, yes, that's the definition of intelligence, isn't it? Learning from your mistakes. I'm going to take one more question. Well, we'll see. It might be two, depending how quickly we get through them. But um, from Alex, could you talk about the implications to the full software development life cycle? It seems this is disruptive, not just to the operational side, but through to development. Well, as first bug fixing and network fixing from software repositories.
I
So
think that it's also a very valid question, and we could
yeah,
spend the full next hour.
I would
Yes,
think.
I think that with agentic AI system, we have a truly new way of understanding the software development lifecycle. I think it's totally, I would say, reshuffled at a moment in time because we could really ask ourselves if the value is on the code we generate or on the specification that we are bringing, because at the end of the day, if it costs less to do the implementation dynamically, I think it changed the game. And just as an example, look today about how much Cloud Code is performing, and not only with Cloud Code, but only considering, for instance, when you're using Cloud in your browser. When you click execution code, you understand that you are enabling lively your AI tool to download the libraries and the code it need to perform a task he decide on the fly dynamically. So you're right. I think that the from software development lifecycle and software engineering principle, I think that I would be curious where we will sit in just only 3 to 5 years, but I think that software development will definitively enter in something that will be totally different. And just to end on this one, if you are curious enough and if you have few time, I strongly recommend to read the post and that have been made by the founder of Cloud Code, so Boris Cherny, who explained how he's working with his AI agent. 5 agents in the terminal, 10 in his browser, and he's the orchestrator and the supervisor with agents that have tasks, agents that are coding, agents that are testing, agents that are doing the documentation, agents that are doing the integration, the packaging. So it's extremely interesting to understand how this orchestration and yes should be very impactful on the next step of the journey in software engineering.
Philippe, to my great sadness, we have come to the end of our time, which is invariably never long enough. We've got some really good questions from the audience, so we might have a go. Maybe with your permission, we might follow up a bit online.
Yeah.
And maybe add some of them when we publish this on demand. We'll see how we get on with that. Okay.
Yes, or just we could perhaps write a kind of paper or a blog post attached with the
Oh
announce where
yes, we will.
I
We
could
will
spend few
definitely
time.
definitely do that.
Okay, we can do this.
We'll
Thank you
follow
very
that up.
much, Annie. It was lovely to be with you and digging into this, I would say, super exciting, but with cautious if you have well listened to me. And I was delighted to open this session. Thank you very much.